what's next for CC's events? Are you looking to have maybe some big time artists, maybe her, maybe I don't know, uh,
Okay.
Wiz Khalifa coming to your event performing? Is that something we could see here in the near future at one of your events?
I would say stay tuned. Stay tuned. You never let your what is it, your left hand know what your right hand doing. So
Mm.
yes. So it's like I have, like I told you, I wanted to start like really big scale and I'm starting like smaller scale. So I would say just stay tuned to see what I have in store because it's not always going to be the same thing. But if you pay attention, you should know where I'm headed.
So can we get an inside peek, baby? Is CC's taking her event planning on the road to New York, Philly, Jersey? I don't know, Atlanta. What's up? Can we get a sneak peek on that to see if you're going to another state eventually?
I'm not sure yet. We'll see. So when we did the first event at Arlo, people were in the comments going crazy from like a bunch of different cities asking us to bring it to different places. But once again, I'm very intentional. So I want to make sure we master what it is at a foundational level before we take anything on road. So any hiccups that we have, any little kinks, anything in the experience that needs to be fixed, I want to fine tune that before saying, hey, let's go to New York, you know? That way, we go to New York, we already have like what we're doing down pat, and then we could deal with any other obstacles along the way. But we'll see. Maybe in the future.
So is that something where with CC where you could do like I don't know a survey to see how many people want y'all to come to New York or Philly or whatever or Atlanta? Is that something where y'all could do like a survey to gauge, what the real interest is for your events?
Absolutely. So I saw another group do this. Once again, I'm like a researcher too, so I see what other people are doing. There's a group I follow in New York, and they are looking at coming to DC. They said this summer, I haven't seen a date yet, but what they did was they put out a feeler ad and they had you text and they said, hey, we're coming to DC. Are you interested? And you basically RSVP'd, you put your number in there. And so whenever they drop the date, of course, you'll get that announcement, but that also lets them know this many people are interested and now we have this many numbers. So if I did decide to go on the road, I would do exactly that. I thought that was genius.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you like to do research, you like to know what's going on before you actually get into the business and things of that nature. So it seems your first uh, you know, coming out party was really well. Do you think that's because you actually took the time to plan? You didn't just jump out there? Because normally people, when they come out and do this, their first event might not be 85 or 100 people.
So that was the first event in like 2019. That one, I think, like I said, I wanted like way more. So let me give you a comparison about things I would do differently then versus now, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that was with Carbonado, the more African centered event. With Season, this was my second rodeo of like launching a brand. So one thing that I did differently was I did a pilot, and the pilot was free. I needed to test the market. And so to test the market, I was like, okay, if I have a free event, I pick a good venue, I pick a good spot, I got my DJs. If the people want it, they'll come, right? And so the mistake that we made with Carbonado was we didn't have proof of concept yet. We put the event out there, but we had a paying ticket. You know, we had a lot of expenses, which was cool, but we probably could have lessened our expenses and just did a free event. That way people could come, get proof of concept, experience it, and they'll be hooked, and then you got them. So I would say that's one thing that I've learned throughout this process. It's like, okay, I'm going to launch it. Let me launch it for free. Let me do a pilot. So that was
Hmm.
something I learned from experience.
Okay. So one thing I've always been fascinated about was tickets because you mentioned free.
Mhm.
How do you know like what to price an event? Obviously, you have other events they're having their prices and things like that. How do you know how to price your events efficiently?
So you have to go with your expenses. You have to look at all of your expenses, and budgeting should be done on the front end if you can. Sometimes I've definitely had times where the budgeting was not done on the front end and you kind of just go with it and whatever, but I would say that's not the way to go. So I would say just budget for everything, whether it's the venue, the DJs, any decor that you have, if you're having food, your staff for the door, all of that stuff. Once you do that, you get the venue capacity. If you know the venue capacity, you could split that. So I don't want to get into math, but like, let's say the venue capacity is 100 and your expenses are 1,000. So then you would just divide that 1,000 by like 100, and that's what, $10, right? So you would say,
Right.
okay, if I did $10 a ticket, I would break even on this place. But if I did, you don't want to break even. So you want to go a little bit higher. Maybe if I did $20, I could at least get $10, extra on top of everything. But another thing I've learned is that even if the capacity is 100, you can oversell a little bit because there's going to be a flow. It's not going to be 100 people in there all the time at the same time. So you may want to oversell a little bit. Maybe sell like 125, 150, because 100% of people are not coming. And then they're also going to stagger their entrance. And so all those things have to be accounted for. So you could even sell like 125, 130 tickets for $20. And now you're still getting way more money. And then you just keep doing it over. But you don't want to be greedy. And it depends on the experience that you're offering too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I like that.